बड़ा वह आदमी जो जिंदगी भर काम करता है, बड़ी वह रूह जो रोए बिना तन से निकलती है। आज आदरणीय जे एन दार साहब को याद करते हुए अब समय हो चला है मेमोरियल लेक्चर का, और इसके लिए मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगा प्रोफेसर मनोरंजन मोहंती जी का, डिस्टिंग्विश्ड प्रोफेसर, काउंसिल फॉर सोशल डेवलपमेंट, इंटरनेशनल एक्सपर्ट। आदरणीय मोहंती जी हमारे मंच पे पधारें और इस जे एन दार मेमोरियल लेक्चर को हम सब के लिए अविस्मरणीय बना दें।
Mohanty is one of the most important and vibrant social thinkers of India. He has been our teacher. He taught many of the Netarhatians in Delhi University, and I think one of the persons who is most appropriate for delivering J N Dar lecture. I remember when I called him the day I was supposed to join the university to get his blessings. He told me, my sutra is that be democratic with the students, and the society has given you a lot of responsibilities, you must carry it well. Professor Mohanty was educated in the West but decided to come back to India, and the key sentence that defines him is the people's right. So he always keeps telling us that you must think about people first. That is the sutra for education. I invite Professor Mohanty. Thank you.
Friends, it's a great privilege to be part of this great function. I can only carry on the celebrations. I have had so many Netarhatians as my students. I always had a mystique about the Netarhat model. And I only associated everything good about education with the Netarhat model. And today I know for sure, in concrete terms, particularly after Vijay Prakashji's presentation and all the presentations, what a wonderful tradition it is, and what a great teacher J N Dar was, and the Netarhat model of education is such an inspiring experience that it is what we need today at a time when we are facing challenges from all directions in education. All that I want to highlight is that this model is based on a different definition of education. For example, we have had a skill development mission in the 12th plan in India. You know, that is one approach which last 300 years, industrial revolution culture, 200 years particularly, and globalization during the last 30 years has promoted education as skill development. But skill for what? The Netarhat model will say skill about communicating with nature, understanding yourself, understanding your fellow beings, not only human species, other species also. Understanding the forest around you, the water, the soil, and what human civilization has achieved so far, we should be able to have access to that. This is why, as you said, school is only one tool, one arena for education. but school is a very important arena. It tries to give what human civilization knows so far in a creative way. And that is, in fact, this was an evening of celebration of creativity. And I can now visualize. Well, I can't wait. I hope I am able to visit Netarhat School in my lifetime soon. It is really a celebration of creativity. So education defined not as skill development alone, something more than that. It is a creative experience, a creative learning process, a learning process about society, nature, climate, beauty, what is life about, what livelihood is about, and what it can be better for yourself and others. And this is why I was so grateful for that reference to the difference between creative self and obsessive self. Because the very definition of self is that we can't understand ourselves until we understand others. Whether I'm doing something that is enjoyable or not, I can know if I'm together with others. We enjoy it together. And my students have heard me on this very often. There is a concept called Ubuntu. This is a South African Zulu language term. It means I am because you are. I can develop only when you can develop. We can only develop together. And therefore the collective mutuality that Netarhat model symbolized and practiced, that was amazing. Some of the notions of mutuality, togetherness, that was absolutely amazing. So the self, the concept of the self here is that of Ubuntu. In other words, mutuality of the self. My creativity depends on your contribution to my creativity. And I can do the same thing to you. So creativity is a mutually developing experience. Friends, not only we have a different model of education here, and this is what I want to focus on. You know, you have mentioned that I should talk about the BRICS. What should the BRICS countries do in the realm of education? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. You know, these 5 countries are not just power bloc, another power bloc. They are participating in a civilizational movement. They are going to debate as to whether whatever has gone on as education, as technology during the last 200 years, that should continue, or human civilization has reached the dead end of that era and has to open a new era of human civilization, taking the best of the last 200 years and creating new way of interacting with nature, interacting with each other, creating a society that is less equal and more mutually beneficial, and so on. So BRICS countries have 2 paths before them. Either they join the big power club and continue the same hegemonic model, or they take the advantage of science, they take the advantage of human culture, not only of the West, but the whole world, and try to create a new world of equality, of sustainability, of justice for all. This is why the world is debating today. And BRIC country, in fact, in our own country, this debate is going on. Some people would like us to join the same path of Western industrial development. And the skill development mission is a part of that. The alternative is that we go to Gandhi's Naitalim, basic education, Tagore's Shantiniketan experiment, and the Netarhat model. I had the privilege of, my wife and I are part of an effort to revive a similar institution, Bajirao Chhatrabas, in Angul. It started also in 1948. Utkal Navjivan Mandal, Malati Chaudhary and Navakrishna Chaudhary started it. And they wanted to have the children of Adivasis, Dalits, and also political sufferers, political prisoners and people like that, and poor people. And they first set up a hostel, Chhatrabas, named after Baji Raut. Baji Raut was a young 14-year-old boy, a boat boy, who was forced by the British armed guards to take them across the river in his boat. And they had just suppressed one rebellion on one side of the river, and they wanted to go to suppress another rebellion on the other side, and the boy refused to boat them across. And they shot him dead. So he is a hero, an anti-colonial hero, of which a lot of literature is there. So Bajirao Chhatrabas it started as a hostel, then has a school, and they began the Jivan Vidyalaya. Chittaranjan Das has written about it. Jivan Vidyalaya around that time, a basic school really, and almost on the same model. Unfortunately, it didn't succeed. There were so many problems. I will not go into those details. But we are now trying to revive this Bajirao Chhatrabas.